Hi, everybody. Hello. It is me, the Fabulously Around, and I came on here today to do another edition of What I Know for Sure. And today's edition of What I Know for Sure is never underestimate your impact on people's lives. And the reason I say this is because, as we know, Big Angela, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Regola. I hope I'm saying it right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Um, Also known as Big Ann, she passed away this past weekend. And granted, I was never a fan of Mob Wives. I was never a fan of Big Ange. Like, I never really got into it. But after she passed, I started to do just a little research on her. And, I watched some interviews and such. And what I saw was a woman who was full of life, who was full of energy, who was full of zest, who just loved her life. She loved herself. She uh, she loved the limelight, but she was a down to earth woman. Like, she wasn't chasing fame. She was just her. And it made me think, and what it made me think about was sometimes in life we underestimate our impact, the impact that we have on people. We don't think that because of our personalities or because of things we say or do that we matter. Oftentimes in life we often think, oh, well, I'm small and insignificant. What do I bring to the table? And I'm here to tell you that you bring a lot. I don't know who I'm speaking to. This was just on my heart to say, but whomever is watching this, I want you to know, and I'm looking directly at you. I want you to know that you do matter. You do bring something to people's lives. You're not insignificant. You're not small, and you're not an afterthought. Your personality, whether it be bubbly, whether it be bright, whether it be melancholic, it helps somebody in some way, either to look at themselves internally or to look at themselves from an external source. So, I mean, you do matter, and that's what I got from seeing Big Ange. I got a woman whose impact, even though she was known for TV, but her impact was so great. She was the peacemaker. She was the mediator. She was the one that she was like the mother figure of the Mob Wives group. And I never really, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the show or of I was never really into her. I never watched the show. But when she died, what I saw was the impression and impact that she left on somebody's life, and that's what it made me think of. Like, we often underestimate our own impact because we think, well, who's listening to me? Who's caring about what I have to say? I do it myself because I often think, well, I'm just some guy who is in the St. Louis area, who is in his little tiny office, who's talking to a web camera. I don't think that I impact people until somebody reminds me, like, hey, Leo, yes, you do. You've helped me. Like, the day today I was going through it really bad, and I turned on your video and it helped me get out of my funk. Or I thought about ending it and you helped me get off the ledge. We don't think about that because we take what we bring to the table for granted, but we all bring something. We all bring something special and unique and individual to the table of life, to this planet. That's why we're here. We're here to learn and grow, of course, but we're here to show our own individuality. And my advice to all of you is to embrace who you are. Embrace all of who you are. Love yourself. Love it from here. And loving yourself doesn't mean declaring, I love me. Okay, I can say that, but do I really mean it? Loving yourself means you have boundaries. Loving yourself means you know how to say no. Loving yourself means that you are not full of yourself, that you're not arrogant, that you're humble, but you're not someone that can be walked over, and walked on. Loving yourself means that you're willing to put yourself first and not second and third and fourth to benefit other people. Loving yourself means that you love yourself unconditionally, and that means warts and all. That means even things that you don't like about yourself. And loving yourself means that you can admit that yes, you're not perfect. I have flaws. I have issues. I have emotional issues. I have trust issues. You can admit those things freely, and not only can you admit them, but you can work on them. You can work through them. So that's all I wanted to say. Don't underestimate your impact on people, the impact that you make on people. Please don't, because Like I said, watching Big Ange or watching her interviews, I mean her energy and spirit just leapt through the screen. She was so, even though she looked what we would call fake, she was so real. She kind of reminded me really in a lot of ways of like an Italian version of Dolly Parton. Kind of reminded me of that. Just looked artificial but completely real. And just the nicest, sweetest woman. And I swear, I watched an interview with her on Wendy Williams, and this was like some years back. And I wanted to reach out and just hug her and be her friend. And so when she passed, I'm like, wow, she really was a beautiful person. She really did help people, and she really was someone that was relatable. And I think, in the nature of reality TV, we as much as we like ratchetness, even myself, I like a little ratchet every now and again, because I myself am a little ratchet. Okay, but we also like relatable and we like real. And for a lot of people, what I was reading on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, I was reading like people were saying like, I felt like that was my sister. I felt like that was my mom who passed, and I'm like, wow. I mean, just the impact. So I'm telling you, I'm pleading with y'all. Don't ever think that you are insignificant. Don't ever underestimate your own impact, the impact that you make in somebody's life. If you make somebody smile, if you make somebody laugh, if you make somebody cry, if you make somebody think, you have left an impression on them. And even if that impression is not a good one, hopefully they can take that bad impression and they can learn from that and grow from that. So that's all I wanted to say. Don't ever underestimate your impact. Don't ever underestimate it, because you, my dear, are very special and you are meant to be here. I am the fabulous Leo Brown, and this is what I know for sure. I love you all, and thank you so much for watching.